Hi everyone, welcome to Rise Tribe. So great to have you back. Today we have a really special guest. It's the amazing Paige. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about how I met Paige. We met last February, this
Mhm.
February, this
Yeah, this past
February,
February. Yeah.
um, at a beautiful retreat in Mexico, in Mahahual. It was the Ajit retreat. Um, and yeah, Paige was such a shining bright light for me in this whole retreat. It was every woman there was absolutely amazing, but we were in some really, really deep work. And Paige brought joy and lightness to the whole group with the work that she does. So I'm going to pass it over to Paige. Just say hi, and Kirsty, jump in whenever you're ready.
I am so thrilled to be here. And I want to tell a story about how we ran into each other.
I know.
Like, I live in Kelowna, British Columbia. Sammy and I met in Mexico. I knew she lived in Europe. So I go to a retreat here in Kelowna that I just randomly got invited to, asked to do some laughter work at. And I get to the retreat and I look across the lawn and I see Sammy. I could have shit. I was so happy. I was so like I couldn't believe it. I was like miracles happen, man. Like look, what? I'm still speechless about it. Like that was magic.
Me too, honey. And just Kirsty, you've just met Paige. Jump in, say hi.
Hi, Paige. Do you know what, Paige? From that retreat in Kelowna, so I've connected with a friend, Maria, like 3, 4 years ago through network marketing. Her and a friend, Leah, over in Canada. And I was just saying to Sam, we'll get Maria on the podcast. You'd love her. She's amazing. And I was like, hold on a minute, Maria's in Canada. Let me find out where, because I knew Sam had moved to BC. And I was like, Maria, in Canada somewhere. And I know Canada's a massive place. So I'm like, the chances of you being in the same place is like zilch or 1 million. Anyway, so I was chatting with Maria on, online, just saying about coming on the podcast. And I said, by the way, Maria, where are you? And I said, because my friend Sam's in BC. And she said, oh, I'm in BC. And as it turns out, they're literally spitting distance. So Maria was like, "Oh my goodness, get her to come, get her to contact me, get her to come to this retreat, Kelowna. It'll be amazing." And you were there, and you know Maria, so I was
Dude.
just so like,
Oh,
"This is bonkers." So
it
it's
was,
just all
it
meant to
was,
be, and I felt like such FOMO that I wasn't over there. I was like, I want to be there. So I'm having a right tantrum, but I was just loving that. Yeah, you're all connected. But yeah, the likelihood over in Mexico, Sam's in Europe, but she's in Canada, and you bump into each
ah,
other. I love it. It
it was
just
just
souls
such a
aligned.
beautiful moment. And Kirsty, I must say, I kind of knew that you were having FOMO, but you were also really
I
excited
was so
as
excited for
well.
you.
Like your excitement for us all meeting kind of overtook your FOMO. You're like, oh my God,
Totally.
you were like kind of almost more excited than me when I was going to this retreat.
I was like,
And
send me a picture. I didn't get a picture, but anyway.
got the picture, so sorry. Yeah, but it was really magical. So I had literally got
Mm.
to this venue. It was beautiful up in the mountains, and I was just introducing myself to Maria, and I had this tap on the shoulder, and I was like, "Oh my God!" It was just so good, so good.
Oh.
And now here we are with the gorgeous Paige on our podcast. I'm so excited for this. It's
Me
amazing.
too. I'm so stoked. I feel like this has been a really difficult year, I know for myself and so many other humans right now.
Yeah.
But it is moments like that that truly remind me of how magical this world can really
Oh
be.
my goodness,
Because
yeah.
the odds and the synchronicities and the coincidences that needed to occur for all of this to line up, it's just like, it's
And the
It's
beauty
awesome.
is, Paige, you weren't pushing for that to happen.
Yeah.
There was no real strong intention of, I need to meet Sam at this retreat at this time. It wasn't even a thought, was it? You met at Mexico, you connected. There you go, you connected online. We'll continue this relationship.
I
And
was so sure everyone was on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you're here. So good. It was so good and really funny.
So if that is not a message for the people listening to just trust and just
Yeah.
allow things to unfold. And I was during my yin yoga today, it was talking about how nature doesn't rush.
Mm,
It all blossoms in perfect timing. Everything blossoms at its own time, but for that one flower to, to push through the roots
yeah.
and to blossom, it all happens in perfect time. And that really gave me great comfort in hearing that, and just stop forcing, stop pushing, stop trying so hard, and just let go of the reins, and look what happened for you guys. So yeah, really beautiful.
Lovely.
Oh, I mean, when we're talking about laughter and joy, I mean, look at that smile.
I
Seriously,
know.
Paige,
It's
it's just,
infectious. It's
yeah.
honestly, it's the best smile. I haven't stopped smiling since we've got on, actually. Just
Yeah.
and and the meditation that we did of the sound healing, do you know what? Like you said, everyone I know is having a particularly interesting, rough time in many different ways. And just having you there just took me straight back to that retreat and the support and the love and everything. In that moment, I was having a really funky time. And it just grounded me back. And I was just such gratitude throughout that meditation of just remembering what I experienced at that retreat. So it was just so magical.
Is that a meditation you did, Paige, that you led?
No, we were listening to a sound journey of
On the grass.
it
Got
was
you.
so like just it was beautiful. And I too was feeling the same way. Easy for us to just go right back into what we were doing. Like
Yeah,
I went to Ajit's retreat. There was so much that had happened in January, February. Like that whole retreat couldn't have been more perfectly timed of like gaining and like trying to feel connected with women.
yeah,
And soon as I got back, I was right back into things. And it's so hard to integrate the lessons if we don't take that time to try
yeah,
and reintegrate back, because it's so easy to just live within the patterns we already know.
yeah, yeah,
Especially when you're going back to your environment.
Yeah.
You go to a retreat and, you can just fully focus on you. You don't need to worry about kids, husbands,
Mhm.
friends, family, whatever at home. You can just fully immerse yourself. And I think that's the challenge with retreats. It's that
Mhm.
integration back into your everyday life when the energy of your home, and
mm,
the mundane things that you need to be doing. And I really feel like that's possibly a missing part of retreats. How do you integrate back when, as soon as you walk back in the door, you're
that's
faced
really
with life
beautiful.
again? Would you say? What's your thoughts
Yeah,
on that?
I always think about what is even just one piece I can bring with me. I do this when I go
Mm,
camping. Anytime I go somewhere and I think to myself, wow, I want more of this. I try to think of a way that I can bring just one thing back with me
nice.
and hope that the subconscious like has other bits and pieces stick,
Yeah,
especially if we're doing somatic work at the retreats.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
totally.
I find that pattern breaking is hard. Like, I mean, I'm a trauma counselor, that's my specialty. And it's about breaking those fight, flight, freeze, fawn patterns.
Mm,
And man, when you really open your mind to like all of the ways that we've adapted in these types of energies, it can be really overwhelming to be like, okay, how am I supposed to change all of it at the same time? That's
Yeah,
never gonna
you
happen.
don't. Yeah. Yeah.
that's so interesting.
How did
We're
you get into that, Paige?
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
Sam.
go on. No, I was just going to say we're all kind of ready in, but Paige, I just want you to tell us like who are you, what do you do?
Yeah.
Give us an overview
Yeah.
of that, and then we'll carry on with our lovely conversation that's already started. I knew it would.
Oh, I love it so much. Yeah, I like to think of myself as like a glitter unicorn of a human. I love rainbows. It's my favorite color. And I'm just, I I really do love being in the world and spreading joy. I really do. And it just feels like this natural thing that has just been a part of my life, whether I was in the entertainment industry or whether I was helping in some way. And that gravitated me into psychiatric nursing. So that's what I did for the first chunk of my career. And I transitioned to clinical counselor in 2022 after doing my master's in counseling psychology, and my specialty is healthcare providers and working with people who are in the healthcare field because there's a whole culture within itself in that world. So
Mm.
having it so that people can come to me without even having to explain what they've experienced is what I get is a huge feedback. They just know that I've been in the trenches right there with them.
Yeah.
And I continue to expand into trauma. Somatic experiencing is one of the courses that I have under my belt. And I in all of it, my coping skills has always been entertainment. Like I've been um, all of them incorporated some form of humor, some form of lightness, this engagement with audiences. And I thought to myself, like, how can I combine my counseling and my love of laughter and entertainment? And looked into a course on like laughter therapy and being able to really help somatically embody laughter, utilize it as a method of coping, and being able to find a little bit more lightness in our lives, which felt very natural to me for very many years because dark humor is very much part of the healthcare field. It is survival humor, it is how we make it through. But yeah, I'm a big messy combo of a whole bunch of things, and I'm really learning to embody all of it more sustainably now because I was like just the yes man who's like, I can do it. Well, yeah, just because I can doesn't mean that I should in this moment.
Right.
And you'd never put a trauma therapy and laughter together because you think trauma is like, you know, sorry, it's so heavy and it's so serious and it's so deep, and then bring laughter into it. But laughter blows up all that trauma, doesn't it? Well, not that it blows up the trauma, but it blows up the emotion behind it. Is what I think I'm trying to say. Would you say that's right, Paige? Or
Absolutely, because
over that?
we can use humor to bypass how we're feeling about things. Like we can very quickly just not feel the thing, do the joke, and hope that that's going to help us just shift our perspective. Because that's what
Mm,
humor is a perspective shift. It's
yeah.
looking at it in another
Mhm.
way. Where it gets deeper is where you laugh and then you integrate the laughter. You integrate this new sensation that came up alongside what's going on. When we can laugh together in this perfect moment, because like a real genuine laugh is just magical, it
Oh,
just feels right.
yeah.
And for some folks too, being able to sit in that laughter is also really hard because even
Yeah.
juicy or yummy sensations can actually feel very scary if we're not used to them. So, also learning how to sit in comfort with joyous emotions, pleasant emotions, we really start to integrate the possibility that we can feel joy alongside the chaos.
Alongside. Thank you for that, Paige. That's so interesting because I'm just starting a trauma therapy kinesiology informed
Mm.
course. And I just want to ask you this as well. So, because I've done a lot of deep work, right, in the whole
Mhm.
trauma side of things, and it really feels like you're in the trenches a lot of the time on the healing wheel of stuff. And now I'm coming across like how can we make this not so heavy all the time? Yeah, at times we're going to go in and do really heavy work, but like how can we bridge that into our normal daily life? And also another thing that I've just come across is that we can reduce so cortisol is your stress hormone. We can reduce cortisol by adding more of the good stuff and dissolving the cortisol instead of only going in and releasing everything. Like so
Yes.
serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, if we bring that in, it helps dissolve levels of cortisol and I'm like, well, that's awesome. I wish I'd known that 10 years ago.
Mm.
Well, no kidding, right? And like I'm so grateful. It's like the universe like just popped these perfect modalities in my way after
Mm.
like because during my master's it was very cognitive behavioral therapy based, which is very evidence based. It's not the model of therapy that I prefer to use. We're already so stuck up here in our
Mm.
heads and figuring out. And I just came across, I was doing a paper on positive psychology. And when I learned about it, it's still very much in the head, but it also included these actions you can do to remind yourself of these things that are good in your world. So, like the top
Mhm.
pillars are pleasant emotions, relationships, so positive relationships, a sense of meaning, sense of engagement, and a sense of achievement. And I thought if we could hone in on those areas and actually really feel into them, because it's great if it's like, oh, well, if I do this thing, there's like achievement, sure. But how many people actually stop to celebrate? How often do we actually take a pause and say, wow, me, look what I've done? So rare, especially in high achievers. And
Mm.
so, and if we're stuck in the cycle of fight flight, of always go, 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 we are never stopping. We are never immersing ourselves in, wow, look what I've done. Wow, look what I can get engaged in. Wow, look at these relationships in my world. So, being able to think of the somatic side of it as well as the positive psychology side of it and really embrace those pieces of us. Oh, it's just a beautiful recipe for post-traumatic growth.
Nice.
It's really lovely. And
Mm.
it's so interesting because in the personal development world, there's, do your successes of the day and that sort of thing. People find it so hard to celebrate
Yes.
themselves, especially on that logical side of things, where and so bringing movement in, I think, 'cause I love a bit of shaking, I love all
Yep.
that kind of work. That
Yep.
really brings it into the body and makes it less jarring, almost, if that makes sense. Um,
Totally.
yeah, I just the combination of your work is fabulous, really
Mm.
fabulous.
I am a mixed bag.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Tend
awesome.
to like it.
Yeah, and also, is that bringing those strong emotions? Because when those strong emotions come in, that's where you really influence your unconscious mind, isn't it, Paige? Is that right? So,
Oh yeah, we love to
it
escape. We love to escape discomfort.
yeah, absolutely. So, like bringing in the joy through the laughter through the trauma, it's changing patterns in the brain and the neural
Yes.
pathways.
Yes.
It's just a really fun way, really fun way of going to therapy, instead of this whole
Yes.
heaviness of it all. Amazing.
Well, and it's so important too that we have a bit of like ebb and flow between both. So
Mm.
Yeah.
if we get stuck in the yucky emotions, we can really overwhelm our system to the point of it being like, I can't go here. So the goal is always to just titrate in enough, just
Mm.
allow some discomfort to come, but not saying, okay, give it all to me at once if the person doesn't have enough of that sense of that
Yeah.
grounding, that sense of comfort, that sense of safety. And so, even creating just that sense of safety and being able to pop in and out, even with just a little joke, a little bit of lightness to come in when you can tell that the body is going, like, I cannot,
Yeah. On
is
high
just a
alert.
beautiful, beautiful way to kind of just titrate in and out of like, "Ooh,
Mm.
we're good here, and then oh, it's getting a little bit intense to the point of it going into more of like a trauma space versus discomfort space, and being able to kind of weave between the two so that we're not shocking the system, we're just creating enough of that expansion and contraction.
Mm.
And also, like another reason that I think people maybe are not willing to go into this is they've got their life to live. We can't all like hide under the duvet for a week whilst we're releasing trauma. So, but also
Absolutely.
teaching people how to do that by themselves. Like if something comes up, like what are the little tools that will bring you back into the safety area, and then trusting our bodies that we have got the power to do that.
Well,
That's
and creating a space that feels safe. And so when
yeah.
people walk into my office, I often get people say that they can just kind of like breathe out, or they just feel like this welcoming energy, this pull that they can come in. And so even having a space where people can go to feel safe, then
Mm.
they actually have a point of reference again, because so often people don't know how to feel safe in their
Yeah.
bodies. And because of that, they don't even know what the goal is when they're trying to regulate. And so having a space where they can sit, integrate what safety feels like, integrate what calm or connection can feel like, then they can be like, oh, I see it now, when they find it in another spot in their world.
That's really lovely. Really
So
amazing.
Paige, let's just say, like, because you don't know what you don't know, like some people like go about every day with a headache and they just and they don't even recognize it's a headache anymore because
Yeah.
it's just become their natural way of being until suddenly, they go and do some work on themselves and they go to somebody like you and then that headache's gone. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
this is what it's supposed to be. And I really feel that so many people are walking around traumatized. They've got trauma
Yeah.
in their body, but they have got no idea. So, could you give some people, give us a few sort of ideas of how would you be fit? If you have got trauma, big T,
Mhm.
little t, whatever that is,
Mhm.
how would they typically be feeling and why? What is it that takes them to go from living the day to go, I
Mhm.
need to go and see Paige?
Well, and the what I hear from people the most, because I do work with so many nurses, is that they just waited. They should have come sooner. It's like that
Mm,
I should have come sooner. There's this knowing that something doesn't feel right. There's this knowing that something is shifting, but there's so much fear that we can have. So if we're feeling fearful of seeking
mm,
that support, if we're feeling this sense of I have to do it on my own, if we're
Mm,
feeling this sense of I gotta go, 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 I don't have time for this,
mm,
any type of urgency energy that is happening inside of us can be like fight or flight energy.
yeah.
So I think of fight energy often as I need to do something energy. And that
Mm,
flight energy can feel more of that avoidance type of space of like, I'm avoiding pieces of my life, or I'm avoiding certain even responsibilities. I'm avoiding even fun because there can be that fear in the background. And then there's that freeze space, that shut down, that autopilot that I can't even think about another thing. So everything just feels busy on the inside, but there's no capacity to do anything on the outside kind of
mm,
energy. And then there's also the people pleasing, the fawning response, that always having to feel this need to contribute to society and the people around you. And all of these things have been beautiful protectors for us in a wide range of ways. It's when those protection responses no longer start to serve us,
mm.
when it feels like, okay, maybe I can seek that support so that I don't feel so stuck in this type of response when stress shows up.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And I actually recognize, when you said, about going into fight or flight, the other day I went into absolute fight and I was like, right. And I,
Mhm.
I won't go into detail what it was, but afterwards I just really recognized where I was in that, in that fight, flies, freeze, or fawn. So I think it's just, I mean, it always comes down to awareness, just really being aware of what is going on with your actions, what is going on with your feelings around that action, to then maybe start having a look. Do I need to reach out? Do I need to get some support on this? Or can I do
Yeah.
it on your own? But why do you want to do it on
Yeah.
your own when you know that you've got somebody like Paige who, can really lead you through this
Well, and
without.
it helps to have a past.
Absolutely.
Like it helps to have somebody with us along for that ride because it is so isolating.
Yeah.
Mental health can feel so isolating that even though our logic brain can say, other people feel this way, we're not seeing it in other people. So unless we have another person who's sitting with us in our pain and being able to be like, look, this makes sense.
Yeah.
How you're
yeah.
feeling makes sense to me. Suddenly it takes the veil of I'm weird away.
Yeah.
It says, no, you're human, my friend, and this is what you're
Yes.
experiencing right now.
Mm,
It makes sense, but also it's not wrong. It's a natural response to life. But what's not natural is staying in those responses long term. And
mm,
it's how do we come out of them back into joy and safety first and joy. And I really love how you described those four. The do, the avoidance, the I'm really busy, I've got no capacity, and the people pleasing for each one.
Yeah.
It's super simple and I recognize them all. It's amazing. I've not sort of had them spelled out that simply before.
Oh,
Mm.
I love talking nervous system responses with people and simplifying it, because it is overwhelming to think of, oh my God, I'm in a constant trauma response. I'm like, oh friend, let's even just like remove the word even trauma in it. Let's
Yeah.
You're in a survival response. You're
Yeah.
activated. You're feeling in this space. I said, so I'm always shifting and changing language based on what people are feeling the most comfortability with, where
Yes,
they feel
absolutely.
empowered versus feeling like they're a victim of something, because it's so easy for us to feel victim of all of these things that are happening in our world. But soon as we start releasing our power, oh gosh, it just feels heavier and heavier and heavier. But then we feel like we're really under the rock and don't have any strength to get it off.
Absolutely. And just knowing that all of these responses are a natural response to
Oh, absolutely.
external threats and they're required and they're necessary, but we don't have
Yes.
to stay in them. We don't have to stay
At the
there.
right time, but don't
Yep.
stay there. Yeah.
And
Oh
there's
yeah.
ways around it. And the first thing I wrote down, Paige, when we started talking in very big letters was simplify. It's like,
Yes.
let's simplify this stuff. It's so good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. And that is the one thing too, is I'll have so many people come and they're like, I want you to get rid of my anxiety. And I'm like, I don't want to eliminate your anxiety, because if I eliminate your anxiety, well, then you're at risk for your
Yes.
life. Like, you need your survival responses. It is like you said, it's when we stay stuck in them and when they become like a part of our lives versus just like that pocket or that moment that we needed it. But we are so easily stuck in it because we humans get stuck here.
We get really stuck, but also the external environment has been really quite interesting in the last
Mm.
5 years, especially, but generally speaking. And then we've had other stuff on top. So no wonder we're all in a little bit of a interesting pickle. But it's yeah, it's practices like these that just I'm so excited about. So tell us a
Yes.
bit more about sort of like what your work is in different areas and also what projects have you got coming up and what's really exciting you at the moment? Was that too many questions at once?
Oh no, it's all good. All good. My
All
neurospicy
rolled
brain
into
loves
one.
diversity. Yeah, I would say that the majority of my work at this point is doing one-on-one clinical counseling with residents of British Columbia. And stereotypically, I'm working alongside nurses. They're the ones who typically come to me, but I do have smatterings of other folks who also come my way. But I also, in November, after doing multiple incredible speaking gigs, I had this recognition of how much joy I do want to spread in the
Mhm.
world. And so got this idea of creating this online community that would be a worldwide mental health platform where people could be inspired by humor, humanity, and hope. And it's called Embracing Joys. And although best laid plans, best intentions, all of those shenanigans, um, I went all in financially, emotionally, time investment wise, and I crashed. And
Mm,
so I've been in this really interesting reflection period of how much of my need to help was actually a survival response,
Interesting.
and how much
Um,
of my desire to help is truly me. And so that is what I have been playing with recently with my somatic experiencing practitioner, of learning the difference between when it's a survival response for me and when it feels genuinely authentically me and myself and my passion and my calling. And so now I'm just starting a school platform, so I'm switching over from one to another, and I'm feeling that energy again. I'm feeling that excited energy, and this time without all of the pressure, because soon as I said, yes, I'm going to go on this journey, I pitched the idea to a documentary series and was accepted. And so then the pressure really grew. So then not only that, I was going to be on a worldwide streaming platform
Wow.
about this idea, and it's not complete. It's not complete. Documentary's coming out this month.
But do you know what? Isn't that how to do it? Say yes,
Yeah.
figure it out along the way, and the pieces will all fall into place. Because I mean, look, I mean, talking about the universe, going back to where we started, was this even on your, even in your vision, for want of a better word? Yeah,
No.
but you taking the action on your purpose, what you feel passionate about. Yes, as we said at the start before we came on here, your passion can burn you out if you
Yes.
are not taking care of yourself. So, us coaches, therapists, we have to practice what we preach. We have to.
Absolutely. And I
Because who
was
else are you going to
feeling this way.
help if your battery is depleted? No one. Mm,
And also we then really know,
Yeah.
right? That so when we're helping people, we're going to see it easier because we've had to walk through it ourselves.
yeah.
Yeah.
I, Paige, I just absolutely love this. Um, do you mind sharing? How do you know if you're in over pleasing or if you're in your authentic giving? How does that look for
Yeah.
you?
It is whether there's pause. So if there's this automatic response, and I just started a podcast recently called The Human in All of Us, and I was going to wait for these episodes to come out, and then the assassination of Charlie Kirk happened,
Mm.
and I instantly made an episode, and I told my therapist about it, and she said, why did you instantly make an episode? And I said, well, I just felt like this need. And she's like, ah, okay, you felt this need. And I could just feel it in my body of, oh, I was going into my nurse helper mode. I was going into the I'm here to help. I'm here to talk about vicarious trauma. I'm here versus it just feeling like, wow, there's this thing that happened and I would love to be able to support this. It was this action, it was like this duty or something. And even when we were doing it somatically, she's like, where do you recognize this feeling from? And I recognize it as the feeling of when a violent incident was happening in the hospital. I could feel my system mobilize that readiness to go into action. And it felt the same with even recording that podcast. And I was like, ah, no, that was my helper mode coming in again. So if there's no pause, if there's this
Mm.
urgency that I'm feeling of I need to help, I need to do, then I'm now being more discerning of, okay,
Mm.
actually, is this my survival pattern popping up? And so that's the difference is if there's this urgency happening because it's so hard because when it's your calling, it feels like you're meant to be doing it. You're meant to be there. That can be true. And it can also not be in alignment with what I need in that moment.
Oh,
Paige,
that's
it's interesting you say that because I've looked into human design and I looked at my human design, and what it told me to do is when you feel the need to say yes, just pause, go into your body and just feel, is it a whole body yes? But and it's really interesting you said have that pause because it said that pause, don't act straight away.
Yeah.
Take the pause. Is it a whole body yes? If it's a whole body yes for my human design, then absolutely go for it. If
Yeah.
it's not, then it's not for you. But
Yeah.
what it said was pause instead of like
Yes.
flight, diving into action. And yeah, brilliant.
Yep.
which is quite the opposite to a lot of the don't wait for until this is complete, like until everything's in place, move forwards, feel the fear, do it anyway. All of those types of things. It's kind of the
Mm,
opposite to that. So it's discerning and I think that's where we really come into the body and
Mhm.
feel it, like what is this actually, and taking the time to do that, which is really missing for a lot of people. That's
mm,
brilliant. The urgent action readiness, that kind of
Yep.
right, got to push through, got to do it. It's not necessarily a positive thing. Lovely.
Yeah, and it could be positive for other people. Is it
Yes.
positive for me?
For
Yeah.
me, that's the really key. That's the key thing. Because some people are the opposite and they're kind of they won't move forward for fear. So actually they might
Yep.
need to push through in a different way.
Mm.
But just knowing that in yourself and how we get to that knowing
Mhm.
is really
Well, and
interesting.
before I was just a yes man for everything. It didn't matter what it was. It was just like it was like, why not? Let's go for it. Let's do it. And I really am realizing just how little I was being considerate of my needs. I wasn't
Mm,
just tuning in and considering, is this something I genuinely do? But but was I actually checking in? No, I was just
mm,
doing the things because it just was what I thought I was just going with the flow of it versus actually checking in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, very interesting. Do you have any exercises you'd like to share with us?
Oh, how about we do a laughter exercise?
Okay, can't wait.
Let's do
Already
it.
excited.
Okay.
So what would you
Clearly,
say
I get
this is?
excited.
Tell us a little bit about what you're going to do and just like what would this be good for, maybe?
Yeah, so this is just we're going to start with like a really quiet laugh and we're going to help it build up. So we're going to just kind of start with like a little bit of a rumble and it's just going to start to build up to just a little bit more silliness. And the point is if we're feeling in a bit of like freeze energy or kind of like blah energy, or even if we just need a little bit of a mood pick me up because we're feeling a little grumpy about something, this can help just kind of amplify the energy just a smidge, if not a lot. So, what we'll do is we'll just start really low and just quiet, and then we just gradually get louder. Are you all
Okay,
ready?
so ready.
Ready.
Okay, so.
We
I need to do the hand with you. Got a
need to
squirrel.
get hands as well.
Really done that. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I forgot to
And take
say
a deep breath.
when I laugh right now, I cough all the time. So yeah, that was a genuine laugh because I was coughing. That was brilliant.
Oh,
So take a deep breath in and just exhale out, just
I
and just
still.
see how that and just feel how that feels.
And isn't
Oh,
it crazy? Because at the start, you're kind of like, I really don't feel, I'm really not going to get a laugh out of this. But once you start, you actually genuinely end up laughing.
your
It's
body doesn't
just
know the
magical.
difference. It's
It
really now
doesn't
I've
know
got
the
like
difference.
that slight like I can't stop smiling sort of
Yes.
scenario. And that's so simple,
So
Paige.
simple.
And
So
then
simple.
in small, and I had to copy your hands. I don't know what happened there.
I know. It's like, are the hands part of this?
They are,
I
they
feel like
are.
a little mouse or something when I'm
Like
just
I
like,
felt squirrely, and I love squirrels, so it really made me,
I do
yeah.
too.
And that's
Oh
it. I mean, for
goodness.
people that are just there, like, because let's face it, some people are going to look at that and go, what the actual, what? No, I don't feel like laughing. No, I'm not doing that. Not doing it. But just, what would you say? What would you say, Paige, to somebody with that sort of, no, I'm not in the mood. I've got the weight of the world on my shoulder. What? No, not
Oh,
doing it. Stupid.
it's, I've done this in front of like hundreds of women in
Yeah.
business. And
Oh, in
I,
business. Wow.
oh yeah, the
Oh,
very
that's a
buttoned
tough
up
crowd.
CEO vibe. And
Yeah.
I have been told by so many of them were like, this is never going to work. This isn't going to help me.
Yeah.
And afterwards, people be like, I felt so awkward and I feel so much better. So it's
Yeah.
one of those things of recognizing that, yeah, it's not going to feel great in the beginning because it feels a bit different. It feels a bit,
Mm.
but the more we learn how to lean into our laughter, the more naturally it's going to come. Like the way I laugh now is different than I when I started doing this. Like I laugh louder, I laugh with like more like body engagement. Like I'm in it so much more now. And so even if we practice just a little smidgens of it, then we start to build up that capacity. So even if we don't feel
Mm.
like it in the beginning, if it prompts a real laugh, great, awesome. If it doesn't, if it is only a fake laugh, it
It's
still
still,
is
yeah.
still your body doing the action.
Yes.
It doesn't know that it has not actually had
Mm.
a like an epic time.
And allowing awkwardness as well. I think that's another
Yeah.
really, really important aspect of this. It's all right to feel awkward. We don't have to hide it all. Um, and just like, can you imagine if you just did that every morning?
Mhm.
Just a minute of
Not
giggles,
even a minute, yeah. It
you
just
know?
shifts so quickly, doesn't it?
It's a really great
Yep.
state change. It's a really great state
Yeah.
And
change.
how beautiful, because I mean, how many of us have a really good laugh on a regular basis? I was out with a friend a couple of months ago, and we went to the driving range with the kids, and it was just watching the kids, I mean, they're
Mhm.
like 8 and 12, so they're not golfers. I
Mhm.
can't even tell you. We howled with laughter to the point I was crying. And I said to my friend, thank you. I have not had a laugh like that I can't tell you the last time
Mhm.
that, I genuinely had this guttural belly laugh that had me coughing and snot was everywhere and tears were coming. And it was just so like, how has it got to this? Because as children, they're so joyful. They laugh at the silliest things. And as adults, we become so tight and awkward and just sort of scrunched up, and we forget how to actually be in joy and have that
Yes.
laughter. So I just think, like practicing, like Sam said, how about doing that every morning, just reminding our body how it feels to laugh. And I
Yeah.
think, do you feel like
And then it's
once you've done
possible.
that, it's going to want more, and it's going to start looking, your
Yes.
reticular
It feels
activating system
good.
is going to start looking for other opportunities and things to
Yeah.
giggle at.
Well, and even like, have you ever had something happen? I actually posted on my Instagram. This was a few months ago, but like I was shaking um a barbecue sauce bottle and the lid wasn't on right and it just like exploded all over me, all over the kitchen. And I remember my first response was anger because I was
Yeah.
just like, this is so annoying. I'm about to do something and now I have this barbecue sauce. But then what I did was as soon as I started noticing that amping energy,
Mhm.
I was like, nope, just laugh like a maniac, just full on almost growl laugh until this feels at least semi funny. And it
Yeah.
did, it shifted. And then I did an Instagram about just being like, well, this is life today. But it shifted the energy. I went from this sucks and me like stomping around my kitchen to it just being a bit lighter and being like, well, I guess this is the sitcom today.
And isn't
Yeah.
that interesting? This is what you do on a daily basis. You help people, and that was your first response. It just shows we're all just so human, aren't we? And that is, like
Yes.
our knee-jerk response is to be angry and frustrated, but then, the awareness kicked in, and you managed to shift it round.
And
Brilliant.
flip it. And I think
Yeah.
that's that. Can we pivot? Can we
Yes.
pivot this energy into
And how
something
quickly?
different?
Yeah.
So my normal response to stuff like that is just to laugh, which is
Yes.
generally speaking, right? I'm just like, oh.
Perfect.
Um,
Yep.
but yeah, but when we notice ourselves going into a spiral of something, like what's going to be that state change, and I think a good old giggle might be the way forwards. Love that.
Yeah. More
Yeah.
Really,
laughter.
really love it.
It
More
helps.
laughter.
It just shifts the frequency a little bit, and
Yeah.
it helps me. Even me, like I struggle with like traffic, and people cutting me off and stuff. I still have road rage, working on it. But when somebody cuts me off, now I do this piece, but I say it in a way that is hilarious to me. I say it
Mm.
angrily. And so then that makes me giggle. Then I don't like there's a shift in my headspace because I go from this is stupid to I've now just wished them well in an angry voice, and that's funny to me. And so it's like just finding whatever brings you that sense of haha. Because I've been a comedian for long enough that I've got on stage and I have bombed, but the same jokes flip and kill in another room. And so your sense of humor gets to be yours. So whatever you
Yeah.
find funny, whatever helps you find the light, that's what's the magic. It's not trying to live up to the Joneses of what they are going to find funny. Find what makes you laugh.
Yeah.
Really good. I'm going to tell you because I used to be a florist driving vans in London for years and years, and I had severe road rage to the point where I've been known to get out the van and chase a guy down the road, swearing my head off. Like, I don't know what I was going to do with him if I got hold of him. Anyway, so my cousin, who I lived with at the time, and now looking back on this, I don't know if this is very pleasant to other people, especially the men, but goodness me, it made me laugh. I had a little ping pong bat, and he wrote on both sides. So the ladies used to get the ping pong that said naughty, just at the window, and the guys used to get small cock. It was so good. And it really helped me. Some of the guys didn't like it quite as much.
So do I.
Most laughed, actually. Most laughed. So
But it lightened it for you so
it was just
much.
hilarious. And I knew I had that bat. So when I feel it coming,
Yes.
I'm like, right, yeah. And I used to swear a lot more than
Yep.
I do now. I'd be like, right, have that. And then it was just funny. So
But
yeah.
how much did that sort of dissipate that whole, anger between, the two parties?
Generally
You brought
speaking,
laughter, not just for yourself, but you spread it out there to the world, Sam.
generally, there were a few men that were really unhappy, and I was like, "Oh, right, better move on quick."
Well, that's their ego, isn't it? Too close
Oh
to the
yeah,
truth.
finding what works for you, and yeah, I love that. That still makes me laugh, right? It's like
Oh, it's brilliant. I think that's hilarious.
And Paige, going to your comedy, that must be. I have so much admiration for comedians because I don't think I'm funny whatsoever, but to stand on stage and have a whole, okay, not everybody, but the majority of people, belly laughing because what you have done or said, and that must be the hardest thing in the world to do. What got you into comedy? Have you
Oh, it
always
was
just been
completely a
this?
fluke. It was a
Really?
complete fluke.
Go
Yeah,
on.
I've always been silly. And people have always said, like, oh, you're really funny, kind of thing. Comedy, I moved from Manitoba, so mid Canada, to BC in 2016. And the one girl I knew here, her boyfriend ran the comedy club here. And I was at an open mic and I was like, well, I think I'm funny. I'll get up on stage and talk about Pokemon Go. And that's what
Yes.
I did. And so it was completely random. I had so much fun. I was not a very good comedian for years because how I would like structure jokes was not how people typically structured a lot of comedy. And so it was always a bit of a learning. It was always learning for me. And now I haven't done much comedy over the past 2 years, but I incorporate so much of it into my speaking. I
Mm,
think that is just such a perfect way to disarm us. So it
Lovely.
disarms it, like anytime people go to speaking events, especially education on mental health, folks are anticipating, oh, this is going to be heavy, or like, oh, this is just going to be a lot of learning. Nah, I want people to feel engaged. I want people to feel like they're immersed in something and be having some fun. And I did a talk that was streamed throughout the US, and the one of the audience members came up to me afterwards, and it was a trauma story of mine, and he says, is it wrong to tell you that I was entertained? And I was like, no, I want people to feel the entertainment of it. That's how we learn. That's how we disarm our trigger response to actually sitting within it and being like, well, look at her go, that's really funny.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
just breaking down those walls, aren't you, so that it can actually penetrate and make that somatic change in the body. That's so clever.
Yeah,
It's
because
I want
it's
to come to a
so.
talk when to
Oh
next time.
yeah, it's so much fun. I'll send you the link of one of that one in particular.
Please
I'll send
do.
it your way. Yeah.
Absolutely. We'll share that
Oh,
as well.
pop it on the show notes. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely, definitely. Oh, Paige, I'm so hoping I get to come and hang out in Kelowna for a week. We're going to talk about
Me too. Yes, keep me
um
posted.
And yeah, we were talking before we started recording, and one of the things that I was saying about Paige is the comedy that you brought to that women's retreat was so needed for me especially, and it was such a treat, and I think using that in combination with all of the amazing skills you have is phenomenal and helps so many people. So many. I'm so excited for your journey onwards, and the joy that you already
Documentary.
bring to this world, but more and more. Like, so yeah, let's tell everyone where they can find you, because I know they're going to want to.
Yes, hit me up on the Instagram is embracing joys. That is me with an S at the end because it's not just embracing joy, the emotion, it's embracing the joys of life. And that is where you
Lovely.
can get all of the updates of whatever shenanigans I'm getting up to. And if you feel curious about following me on my page on Instagram for counseling, it's called anotherchapter.ca because my name being Paige, I thought that was hilarious.
Very good.
Play on words, love it.
We'll pop
Honestly,
that
love it.
all in the notes, darling, so people can find you. And when's the documentary out?
Sometime October 2025 is what we're looking at. And so I just
Okay,
have to
so
send the
this month.
final
We're
this
here.
month.
Know
Yep,
what the
it's
date?
been a
Amazing. And that will go
journey.
on your Instagram as well. That will just be on there.
Absolutely. Yep, I will
Um,
have that popped up there and a little bit
okay,
everywhere.
great. And you've got your school community. Is that started? Is that underway?
It has just begun to start. I only downloaded it yesterday and started playing around with
Amazing.
it. And so that
Okay,
is
so keep an
definitely going
eye
to have more
out for
Space.
that
announcement
as
coming
well.
soon.
Oh, it's so
Mm.
exciting. And yeah, maybe if I do get to see you in Kelowna, we'll do a little Instagram lives together or something. That would be fun.
I
But
would love it. I would
yeah,
love
and
it.
we would love you to come back on in the near future and just yeah, give us updates on the documentary, the new platform, and everything that's going on in your world. That would be
Absolutely.
great.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was such a beautiful conversation. I love talking trauma and giggles.
Two words together are brilliant.
You
Trauma and
just
giggle.
wouldn't. Oh, Paige, what an absolute joy. Absolute joy to meet you. And your energy is utterly infectious. Thank you. You've lifted my energy 100 million percent. So
Yeah,
thank you,
thank
darling.
you.
You know, anyone that has the privilege to work with you,
Yeah.
wow, what an opportunity. So get in touch with Paige if this has resonated, or you just want to ask her some questions. Get in touch with her. She knows, as you can hear. She knows. So yeah, Paige, great to meet you, and please come back on and keep us posted on where you're up to, and we'll 100%. You're part of Rise Tribe, so there'll be more
100%.
collaborations coming up. So
We've got so much more collaboration coming up. We'd love you to come on and guest speak
yeah,
and do some bits and pieces with our community as well. Um, and our future retreats. I'm just going to leave that
yes.
there.
Let's put that out there. Plant the seed, let it grow.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, watching, and we will see you in the next episode.
Loads of love.
So much love. Mwah.